Oh, hello. My name is Ace or Ink. I am host of Furry Trash, the podcast for furries by furries, and welcome to Furry Trash, the Power of Podcasting panel. And this panel is going to be about an hour talking about the ins and outs of podcasting, some behind the scenes, and some really fun stories about podcasting. So a little bit of housekeeping before we start. This session is being recorded. It just general information, and please not swear in the chat. I can't see anything, but I'm pretty sure if you do swear in the chat, you will be told off by someone in the staff. So yeah, just a little heads up there on this. So a little bit background information if you don't know who I am, which is probably very common because I'm a furry and this is a brony convention, so fingers crossed. Like I said, my name is Ace or Ink. My Instagram is at Get in the Box. I quote officially joined the furry fandom in 2018, even though there's no like official registration stuff. That's when I became most active, I guess. My main personas names are Ink. You can see here the purple and white fursuit on the left. There's a picture of me with black and red hair and a picture of Kyra on the other side. I've just been told by Rascal in the corner that everything is the opposite way direction. So I don't know. But one is purple and one is white and one is blue and one is white. So, the purple one is Ink and the blue one is Kyra. And like I said, my social media handles, my Instagram is at Get in the Box. My Twitter is FTrashbot and my YouTube is Boxed Up Adventures. And the whole that you'll see here, there's a theme of boxes. And that's because when I was getting one of my suits ink, my aunt sent me a message that said, time for ink to get in the box. And it kind of stuck. So it's stuck so much that not only is it my Instagram handle and most of my YouTube association stuff, but it's also the way I introduce the podcast. When I open the podcast, I always say, welcome back to Furry Trash. I'm Rose Get in the Box, and this is the panel. So I hope you enjoy. So yes, here's some more pictures of my suits. You can see that I definitely don't love an old posing picture in suit. Working from hopefully left to right, but I'm not quite sure how it's going to translate. There is a picture of me in suit, what the fursuiter community would call poodling. It's when you don't have like anything fursuit costume related. Now, while I'm talking about fursuit, I want to mention it is a vital part of the furry community that I mentioned this here. You do not need a fursuit to be a furry. That is a very, very common thing in the fandom that people don't talk about. Rascal is just giving me thumbs up there. So I think that's been approved by a fellow furry. And I want to just, even though I have lots of pictures of fursuiters in this panel, it is not a requirement to have a fursuit to be a furry. So like I said, I have a picture over in some corner somewhere floating in the universe of myself doing this hand gesture. It's somewhere, I don't know where it is. And that's what we would call poodling, where you don't wear like a costume apart from a fursuit head. The picture of me in snow was taken in February this year. And a little fun fact, about 4.5 seconds after this picture was taken, I fell flat onto my backside in the bush. Yes, smack bang in the bush. And so much so when I fell, I got twigs stuck in my Kyra's hair. So it's a full experience to fursuit. And in one of the pictures here, you have the term furry issue a woo. There was a trend on TikTok for a very long time called voguing. It's where you take a picture and you would write like Vogue over the headline. And I was like, that's too cool. I'm not cool enough for that stuff. Let me just twist it into furry. And over on the different side, like I said, it could be anywhere in the universe. I don't know where it is right now, but there's a picture of Kyra sitting in this chair, might I add. So very stylish altogether, with a t-shirt that says rest but never quit. And that is definitely for today's panel, because today is definitely a new experience. And that particular t-shirt came from the very first podcast sponsor, which was Letter Shop Nation. And I just thought, heck it, it's a cute photo. Why not put it in this panel? So let's jump on to some frequently asked questions or some FAQs. So the show started in January 2020 with the very first guest being at Nagasaki. Naga is a UK furry creator, and I had loved their content for such a long time. I was like, can you please come on the show? And that's how that happened. Currently, the show is available on platforms such as Spotify, Radio Public, and Google Podcasts. And before you ask, no, you do not need Spotify Premium to listen to the show. Surprisingly, the amount of messages I will get of people being like, do you need Spotify Premium? No, you don't. So explaining the show in one sentence would be Furry Trash is an interview style podcast that mainly focuses on the furry fandom, or lovers of people, wow, sorry. Despite the fact I'm a podcaster, I genuinely cannot form 2 sentences to save my life. So this is going to happen a lot during this panel. And like I said in this slide, this is my first panel ever. So please be nice. I'm very nervous. It's also important to note here that sometimes I refer to Furry Trash Pod because it's a mouthful that I have to say. Or sometimes I just refer to it as FTP for just, it makes it easier for me to say it. And here on the screen, you have the logo, which is my 2 characters. You have one Ink and one Kyra, and I actually have earrings of them in today. I don't know if they can be seen on camera or not, but they are on my ears and they're dangling, and I think they're adorable. And it's the 2 characters in a trash can. I originally wanted to call it like the Furry Trash Pod or the Furry Rubbish Pod, but then I realized that half my audience is American and that wouldn't translate. So we call it Furry Trash now because 12-year-olds on TikTok made fun of me, and that's why I ended up being here, Mom. So yes, I am very cool. So here are some past podcast guests. I know for a fact Raskel was one. Raskel has been one of the very few people who's come on the show, not once, but twice. And that's how I got dragged here. So keeping with the furry theme, I guess, there is, like I said earlier on, no requirement to have a fursuit to be a furry. For example, 2 of my guests here don't actually own suits over their characters. For example, Jedi Knight Space Bear, who is the host of Straight from the Muzzle, which is an American furry podcast, and Skirmisher, who is an Irish Twitch creator. So the other 4 people are episode number 43 with Furry Trans Boy, who is a fursuiter and talks about ableism within the furry and cosplay community. Episode 45 with Captain Boons, or Captain Boons Leon, who came on to talk about different types of fursuits and realistic eyes suits, because most suits in the media are toony suits, which is like all cartoon plushy suits. And that particular one that Boons is wearing actually has his own eyes in there, which, as you would guess from me, probably wouldn't be possible. But for Captain Boons, he figures out a way how to pull it off. And in the other one here in the bottom left or right, I don't know, but it's episode 44 with Max the Labrador. No, that did not intentionally rhyme, but I guess it worked. And Max came on to talk about Irish fursuit makers, because myself and Max actually share a fursuit maker in common. Max's suit was made by Lady Nightlight, which is the same suit maker as Ink. And in the other corner with episode number 47 is the Pineapple Fox. Pineapple Fox is a very big American YouTuber, content creator, Twitch streamer, pretty much on any platform, content creator on there. And I thought it was very fun just to have someone on from America to talk about the American Twitch community. Now, to talk about past podcast guests, you need to have a process, I hope. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today. So I'm going to take an example of Haven T. Foskey. And Haven T. Foskey episode was actually last week, so 2 weeks ago, last 2 episodes ago, episode 51 with Haven T. Foskey. Try to say that 10 times fast, it gets very confusing. So for taking Haven for an example, I saw Haven on a video called Furry Surprise Strangers for the first time over on BuzzFeed, and I made a reacts to it, which is a series I had called Furry React, which is now called Furries in the Media, and it is slowly taking over my sanity. Like, it's not even funny. So Haven, I learned, became a furry Twitch streamer. He used to run HavenCon, which was a featured furry content creator in BuzzFeed's Furry Surprise Strangers for the first time, like I mentioned above. And before you ask, yes, that thumbnail was the longest one for me to figure out the pose for, because I didn't know what to pose for that thumbnail. And that's a very common trend, is I don't know what to do, because I'm just figuring it out day by day and just hoping for the best. So how I saw Haven was I came across the video he was in called Furry Surprise Strangers for the first time, which made a Furries in the Media series, and a couple of Twitter DMs back and forth. And next thing you know, the recording was in place. And 2 weeks ago, the episode actually went live, and it's now available on pretty much all the platforms I said earlier on. The show is available, so Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and all the fun stuff. So recording usually takes between an hour and a half, unless you're like me and Rascal, we can talk for literally 3.5 hours non-stop, no questions asked. Whoops. And then everything is edited down by me. I do everything myself, from researching to chatting back and forth to everything. And it eventually came out to be about a 20-minute episode, and that's how that worked. So the picture here of Haven that isn't the thumbnail of me with my hands over my face was actually the art I used for the podcast, which was the thumbnail, I guess. I actually don't know the official terminology for a podcast thumbnail. I say thumbnail, but I'm willing to be correct on that. But sure, look, this is published now. I call it thumbnail, and people tend to know what I'm talking about. So that was that. and merchandise and people behind the audience. Now, Furry Trash at this point had been going on for about a year. Rascal is pointing at the picture of themselves on my screen. Yes, Res, you are in this. Like I said earlier on, I have merch of my show, and in particular, I was pointing at my earrings, but I also have T-shirts of the show. And I wanted to kind of make a project of showing people off, I guess, showing people showing off their merch. That is a tongue twister to say. And I wanted just to see the people behind the audience. So you hear on YouTubers, especially when they're saying it's very common, it's, you know, very easy to get followed up by numbers. It's very easy to get distracted by numbers. It's very easy just to kind of forget the people behind pixels. I was tempted to call this panel the power of pixels, but I thought, nah. So that's how I kind of got that kind of theme going. And I wanted people to show off the FTP merch and support around the world in many different ways. Now, it's important to note here that all handles given are from Twitter, because Twitter is the easiest thing to download photographs from. And now the Twitter crop is gone, it is amazing. I couldn't honestly ask for a better way to steal images off people's Twitter. From Twitter, it's so cool. So on the pictures, I think on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side, there's this first picture somewhere. We have the one and only Rascal, who is currently looking at me very, giving lots of waves. I really appreciate it. Rascal has been a past podcast guest, like I said, came on to talk about a documentary that they were in called Furries Behind the Mask, and came on in July to talk about the furry versus pony versus brony versus pony, everything, the big world of conventions, I guess. So there's Rascal, the one and only, as you can see, the biggest picture on the screen.
Yeah, I also forgot Fluttershy's name while recording that, so go me.
we both did. It was a mutual mistake. It was okay. So you have a yellow and white fursuiter called Lanky Lunatic. You have the amazing Lady Nightlight, who is Ink's maker, like I said, and Max the Labrador's maker. And if you are into the furry side of things, you will notice the name Kiwi Fox, very associated closely with Majira Strawberry. And they sent me a picture of their suit wearing the t-shirt, and I did genuinely cry when that happened. I will never forget the moment I got the PayPal notification and it was Kiwi Fox's icon. I screamed. Like, the house could have been on fire and I would have not noticed because I got the notification. But that's just me, you know, following people online. And merch. So I really wanted to show off people showing off their merch. And I think these two are my favorite photos. Not because there's a super duper cute cat in them, or like I know the people associating both photos, but because it symbolizes the first two photos that I saw of people showing off the Furry Trash merch. For example, on the left, I think, I don't quite know how this is translated onto the Twitch, but there is a picture of Fester Dragon. Like I said, that is their handle on Twitter. On the right, okay, thanks, Resk. On the right, showing off a picture of their mini Sona mini plushie with the sticker, which was the first sticker to arrive in a shipment. And on the left, you have a picture of Admirade Ralph, who is my aunt, who I was telling you about the joke with the boxes, and her cat Smudge. And if you take anything away from this panel today, all I want to know is that Smudge is the cutest cat, and Smudge approved my merch, so that's all I need to know. Like, I could have made no more merch ever since, and that Smudge approved that sticker. That's all I need to know in my life. Complete. And yeah, it was really nice to see people showing off their merch. Rascal agrees with me there, the super cute puppy. Not puppy, super cute kitten. Wow. Sorry, I am really nervous, so I'm just kind of hoping for the best here. But moving on to more people showing off merch all over the world, we have cosplayer Whisper Hayes 37, who is a cosplay friend of mine who I met at Dublin Comic Con, I think in 2018 or 2017. It's a long time. Do you remember when Comic Cons were a thing, when you had actual in-person conventions? Oh, gasp. That's how me and Hazel met, and we've been friends ever since. And in the middle, you have Clappercore Geek Creations. That is a tongue twister to say, also known as Molly Moolaloo. And Molly makes content on TikTok and on Twitter. I believe he used to take a fursuit commission occasionally. I don't know if he still does those anymore, but they do take them. But that was a very common thing you'll see here in a second, of fursuiters putting stickers in their mouth. And keeping with the whole you don't need a fursuit to be a furry theme, we have Bailey's, who is an Irish furry YouTuber content creator. You can see their very professional microphone there in the background, puts my mic to shame if you ask me, showing off their merch. Highly recommend their YouTube video, by the way. They are so funny. They talk about ecology and just furry stuff, and the one time they were a missing person, which is my hands down favorite video of all time. So yes, showing off merch, around the world. So you have Ireland, you have America, and you have Ireland again, because if the accent doesn't give it away, I am Irish. And some more pictures all around the world. My elbow just clicked. I don't know if the translation on microphone there, but it was very loud. I'm very sorry if that came up. So I mentioned earlier on Captain Boone's Leon, who had like his own eyes in his suit. Another suit is called Shitani Cheetah. And she was on the show back in October. And I sent her out some very special merch because I wanted to celebrate winter. And up to this point in November and December 2020, it was snowing in the States, and we hadn't like experienced snow in Ireland yet because it only snows here like once every 10 bajillion years. And up to that point, it was the first time that Ink and Kyra had ever interacted with snow, and I was so happy. And it just shows off there. Like I said, you have winter stickers. Because I was trying to incorporate like how do we celebrate the holidays? Because not everyone who celebrates the holiday celebrates the same holiday. So I want to kind of include as many people as much as possible. People celebrate Hanukkah, some people celebrate Christmas, some people celebrate Kwanzaa. You know, there's so much going on. I was it's just a regular day, and I want to celebrate, you know, winter 2020. And you can see there my lovely abbreviation for Furry Trash Pod, FTP, written on the star note. Yes, hello Britannia. Britannia's there as well. And these are all the Twitter handles of people who showed off some of the merch. And this brings it on to arguably my favorite thing about podcasting is the positivity associated and created from the show. I don't quite know where my face cam is on here, but it's somewhere there. Yeah, it's okay, it's over here. So you can see it fine. So by my reckoning then over in this corner, there should be a picture of my wardrobe with a whole positivity project. And then over here is a screenshot of pictures. So I kind of had this idea. We were in lockdown because Corona was a thing last year, and I wanted to show off how the podcast has not only affected me, but affected people all around the world. And I thought, why not make a poster about it? And I thought, okay, how am I going to do this? Was I going to do Instagram, Twitter? I'm going to use like Spotify reviews. What was I going to use to display the positivity that was portrayed from the show? And I thought, I have a hell of a lot of tape left over, sticky tape. I was like, what if I use sticky tape and pictures? And boom, the Positivity Project was born. So I spent 3 days screenshotting. You can see the time zones, the time slots, like at 11:30 at night of just screenshotting tweets over and over and over again. And I ordered them off and I shipped them off and whatever, and then they arrived. And you can see here people who just reacted to the show, sharing their love for the show, sharing pictures of them, their suits with the merch, showing off stickers, showing off pins, showing off everything. And it didn't really hit me that the show had been affected by so many people until I got one message from a listener who told me that their grandmother had recently passed away and they were using the show as a coping mechanism to deal with her grievance. And then it hit me. I thought, okay, it's been all kind of fun and games up to this point, but I didn't know the show had actually affected that many people. And the fact that someone could use that as an escapism, because the furry fandom is just an escapism when you break it down. And I was like, people actually tune into my show because I thought other YouTubers, like I listen to Cosplayers podcast or I watch other content creators, and I didn't know people did that for me. So that was a lovely shock, I guess. And yeah, that's how the Positivity Project was born. And because I really wanted to just kind of share positivity in the world, that's kind of what I'm all about. And it kind of exploded, I guess, so much so it took over my entire bedroom. So on the picture underneath me here to this side is a picture of me and my dog, Belle. Belle has made many a cameo in the show. She hasn't been on any of the shows. As of right now, it's currently audio only. But there might be something changing about that soon. I don't know. You didn't hear that from me. So up to now, it's only been audio only, and Belle has made a lovely cameo occasionally by snoring, aggressively snoring during every interview she gets the chance. For example, in Raskel's interview, she snored so loud that even Raskel over the water in England could hear, and that was the sign that Belle could snore really loud. But overall, she is cute when she wants to be, so much so that I had to tape a treat, like a biscuit, to the back of my door so she would look at my camera. But look, she looks great on social media. That's the main thing. So there's a picture of me with the positivity poster, and it exploded so much. And I'm pretty sure the message from that particular listener I was talking about is either behind my head in this picture down here, or it's the first one over here. I don't remember exactly where it is because it did move, but it's definitely in this picture somewhere. And yeah, that's kind of what it was all about. You can see there's a very common trend of people putting stickers in fursuit mouths. I don't quite understand that myself, but okay. So there's pictures there of like my friends in real life, because that's one of the questions I always get asked is like, what do people in your real life think of it? And I'm just like, well, I that's what I do. You know, there's nothing really about it. It's not a big palaver. It's my hobby. Some people like soccer, some people like basketball, some people like chess, which I also like chess too. You know, but furry is my thing and podcasting is my thing. I love to entertain. I apparently have a voice for radio and apparently have the perfect face for radio too. So it kind of all flows in together, I guess. And yeah, so that's kind of what I do. And that is the positivity poster, positivity project, and people showing off stickers from not only just all over the world, but all over their house. There's a picture of Raskel who put it up on TikTok. There is pictures of stickers in fursuits, pictures of stickers in bathrooms, on laptops, even on sewing machines. I don't sew, but like I was impressed by that. And it's just everywhere, even on keyboards and like computers. It blew my mind, and it still to this day blows my mind that someone took the time to place an order in the Ko-Fi shop, and I shipped it out to their country, and they look at it every day, and that is insane to me. So this was during 2020, and at the end of 2020, Spotify came out with this thing called Spotify Raft. Now, if you don't know Spotify, let me just give you a quick gist about it. The most common question is, what is Spotify Wrapped? So it tells you basically how many new artists you discovered, how many new genres you listened to, alongside with several like of your top favorites, your top 5 most played songs, your top 5 podcasts, which is a brand new feature, by the way, and your top artists. So just kind of like what you listened to over the year. Kind of, it comes out with a video. I think the video is kind of like Instagram stories. You tap through it and it shows you like, you listened to X, you listen to the song X amount of times, you listened to this podcast so many hours, you listen to blah blah blah, and tells you all the stats from the year, which is actually really handy from a podcaster point of view, but we'll get into that in a second. So this came out in, I think, November, late December 2020, and not around the time, definitely after October, kind of like the end of the month. And it kind of blew up. So not only was its Furry Trash first time being eligible for Spotify Wrapped, because it was his first year being there, but Furry Trash got nominated in every single category podcast could possibly be nominated for, which, when I tell you I cried tears of buckets, like buckets of tears over again, because I was so overwhelmed with the response. That's not an exaggeration. You could genuinely like take out the water of the whole world and be like, that's not even half. That's not even half amount of tears that Ink cried that day. Tears of joy, I might add. So I got notified on Twitter, first of all, where Joshua Wolf, I'm sorry, I've butchered that name, but you can see the post and cover, the screenshot there, and you can see, I don't know if I put my mic, put my mouse on the screen with a translate or not. I don't know, but you can see in their screenshot, it's a little green thing, and it's got the #1 Furry Trash podcast, and that stunned me. And then it kept coming throughout the whole day. For example, you have the screenshot there of Finn in the Bin, who is an Instagram user who showed off their top podcast was for a trash pot. And not only did it show off who the #1 podcast was, but it also showed the minutes streamed, which was insane. 111 minutes. First of all, that's very impressive to have all the minutes the same number. And number two, that's a lot of minutes listening to my voice. Oh me, yeah. And yes, it just kept going. So these ones are the ones from Instagram. You have Munchy Donut, who showed off that their most listened to Furry Trash episodes was 5 episodes in one day, which is incredible, by the way. And you also have more screenshots from It's Maggie's World, who is an Instagram user, like I said, from Instagram stories, showing off that their top podcast was Furry Trash. And this kept coming for the whole day. And every time I got a notification about it, I was just overwhelmed with joy and excitement, and just was flabbergasted, to be honest. I was like, I knew I'd had an impact on people, but I didn't know I had this much of an impact on people. And which brings us up to January 2021. So in January 26th, 2021, Furry Trash celebrated its very first birthday. And I kind of wanted a way to kind of incorporate, what I had been doing, because everything you see for Furry Trash has come from me. I make all the photos, I make all the social media posts, I do all the hashtags, I do all the research, I do everything on there comes from me. And I wanted to kind of incorporate what I do and what the world has to offer, I guess, because Furry Trash has made its own community, and I kind of wanted just to incorporate everyone in the celebration. So like I said, I mainly post on Twitter and Instagram to mark the occasion. I even had photo shoots to celebrate, including probably my favorite photo ever of my two sets of Ink and Claire in the one place at the one time. Totally not edited, by the way. That is total magic how I got the two of them there at the one time. They're very busy people. They are very, very busy furs. Posing for the Furry Trash, the happy birthday sign, which is from Tesco. I bought especially for this photograph, by the way. So you have the sign going across, and you have the Furry Trash sticker in the middle, and both suits are wearing the Furry Trash t-shirt. And I just wanted to take a little photo shoot and just celebrate. And I made GIFs for the whole thing. There was a big thing on Telegram, on Twitter. It was just really fun to celebrate, I guess. And I wanted to see, seeing as the show had created a new community, the goal was to celebrate with the community in a fun virtual way, because first of all, we are in a pandemic. I'm sorry, someone has to say it. And number two, the audience is from all over the world. And unfortunately, I don't own unlimited jet planes, so I couldn't bring everyone to Ireland to see them. And I was like, okay, how are we going to celebrate this together? And then I got an idea, which, if you know me, you know is very dangerous. When I start thinking, it is over, it is dangerous. And it started with a message from Lady Nightlight, who very kindly made Animal Crossing versions of the Furry Trash t-shirt. Now, if you would like to get one yourself, they are still available on the what's it called? Animal Crossing, the shop thing. If you go to the Mabel Sisters up to the kiosk thing, they're still available if you want to grab a screenshot or just share it or whatever. It's still available on there if you want to grab one for yourself. And I also created, with the help of Raskel, the yeah, Raskel is being faulted at everything here. The collaboration of most past guests, future guests, and audience members from all around the world. So I'm going to work from left to right here and name everyone, because I was going to name Shane, but there's no shame here. It's just furries. So working from left to right, we have Jeannie Beats, who is in the blue suit. Lanky Lunatic, who's in the yellow and white one. We have the picture of Lady Nightlight. Under Lady Nightlight, there is Jack Hyena. Then in the middle, just beside Jack, is me in a face mask, because at the time I was too nervous to show my face on Spotify. Now I'm doing a pound with my camera on. So how times have changed, how things have changed. And beside me as well is another Jack Hyena. As you can tell, the term Jack Hyena is very common within the fandom. Under Jack, you have one of my best friends, Alex. Alex is modeling the Furry Trash t-shirt, and apparently Alex wears it up in town and he gets the most compliments on it. And yeah, that's it's kind of part of it. I'm not saying you need to be super cool to buy a Furry Trash t-shirt. I'm just saying it helps. It helps. I'm not wearing mine today because I wore it for 3 hours yesterday, and I was like, nah, it's too good. I'm gonna put it back in its compression breast, just to get in the press there and leave it kind of chill, I guess. And we have our Scale and Kiwi Fox in pictures for the lovely thumbnail art of the show. And like I said, it involved past guests, future guests, and listeners from all around the world, like Australia and the UK and Ireland and France. And there was so many people in there that it was just so much fun. So yes, like I said earlier on, with the Animal Crossing and having the virtual celebrations, we had the Animal Crossing party on the 26th of January. My phone is pinging. And it's fun to have everyone around, and we had a grand old celebration and things. And we had some time, people came over to my island, and we just kind of chilled out together, and it was really fun. And we have here, working from the left corner of the picture over to the back. So we have Raskel once again in the shot with the green hair. Then there's me in the face mask and the black beanie. Jeannie Beats with the witch hat and the glasses. Yes, this was incredibly hard to screenshot, might I add. It was so hard. I'm pretty sure Raskel was one that did this. It's all Raskel's fault once again. And we have a picture of Shatani Cheetah and Lucy, Lucy's Cafe, who is another Irish furry who has a same maker like me. Lucy's suit, Lucy, was made by Store Creations, the same one that Claire was made by. So we always have that kind of thing in similar interest, I guess. And over here, under me here in this side of the screen, there is a picture featuring Lady Nightlight. And if you play Animal Crossing, you will notice she's wearing no pants. She is pantsless. If you take anything away today, I want you to know, number one, is that Animal Crossing, if you are going to get a creative design t-shirt in Animal Crossing, bring pants. Bring trousers just in case. Oh, you'll end up like these Nightlight, cold in January, cold of Animal Crossing. So that's a fun thing to remember about today, is that bring pants. And if you don't play Animal Crossing, always bring pants. And yeah, it was super, super fun. Excuse me,
I
Belle.
remember I bought extra party poppers, and then you were like, we don't need extra party poppers. And then you set them all off before the photo, and I was like, aha, I solved the problem.
Rascal is always right, and I don't know if you can hear her downstairs, but Belle has decided to make a guest appearance, and she's now barking at the top of her lungs. So, she never fails. But yes, Rascal, without you, I would be lost that day. It's like, yeah, we won't need extra party poppers. No, I am totally prepared. And then Animal Crossing said no. Animal Crossing said no. So yes, bringing it back to the podcast before Resk steals all of my limelight. So I have been guests on non-furry shows such as Storytime with Claire Cullen, who I was talking about earlier on, and the Weekly podcast. I don't quite know how to say that properly. I always say it incorrectly, but they were talking about the Feel Good Fridays, and you come on Instagram stories and you chat about stuff for about 15-20 minutes. And the other one in the corner is with Storytime with Claire, who, like I said, had been an idol of mine for a very long time. So that when we were like organizing it, I was shaking like a child. So excited. So you might notice here there's a bit of a difference. It might look like I have a different suit. Actually, I don't. That is Ink. That is Ink 1.0. The photos of Ink you see most of the time is Ink 1.5, which was made in July 2019. Yeah, 2019. Because I went to Dublin especially, and I traveled up with Ink, and I was like, here you go. And I got Ink 2.0 shipped down to me, and I came on Storytime with Claire, and that was my very first ever like Zoom interview, number one. Number two, it was my very first out of suit like interview. And number three, it was the first time I was talking about the furry fandom outside of a furry podcast setting. So I was extremely nervous. You'll see it's a very common trend with me, despite my like job being in radio, that I first of all can't form two viable sentences and I get nervous very easily. So, great match there, I have to say. And the one here on the corner, you have the Weekly, the Feel Good Fridays, talking about, whatever, for 15, 20 minutes, and just kind of chilling out on Instagram, which was very fun. And it was my very first ever live interview with a live audience. So I was very nervous about that as well. So I also mentioned that I have been a part of Furry Interviews, and this is where my time to shine is. Do you remember the picture I showed a while ago of me sitting in the chair with Kyra with the t-shirt on? Up here in the corner is the straight from the muzzle picture, which was a screenshot, the thumbnail of the icon, and loads of photographs, mainly of Kyra though. I don't know how Kyra ended up stealing all the spotlight there, but she did. So working around that picture, you have the top one is a one of me posing in the Lettertop Nation t-shirt. The one beside it is me doing the promo shots for the Furry Trash, being like, you need a t-shirt, and you need a t-shirt, and you need a t-shirt. Whitney Houston could never. Is it Whitney Houston? Who does that? Is it Oprah? Whitney Houston? I don't know. She does that, and you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. But for me, it was, but you get a t-shirt, and you get a t-shirt, and you get a t-shirt. Underneath that, we have another picture of Kyra posing in the snow. And according to Muttley Arts is an Irish furry as well, and she's been the backbone of most of the stuff that I do on Irish Furry Twitter and things. That is the best picture she's ever seen in her life, so I'll take that to my grave. And to this beside, then you have a picture of the picture from earlier on of the posing. And another one, my most recent appearances have been on the SoCal Shepherd Show. That is a tongue twister. I said that 5 times fast. SoCal Shepherd Show. The interview that was over Twitch and Discord, and I ended up getting up like 2:30 in the morning for that because they were based in America. And surprise, I don't actually have ears embedded into my head. They're just headbands, and I love them. Yeah, her scale is like shook. Because that was one of the questions I got asked was like, do you always wear your ears? I was like, no, I just wear them for publicity because they look cool. And surprise, the Wikipedia version of Furry, Wikifur, has a Furry Trash page that I made, I want to say like last July, and I haven't touched since. So it is the most reliable source of information for Furry Trash you could ever find. Yeah, no, I haven't touched it in ages, and it's one of my plans to do when we hit summertime is to go back and change that. But yeah. And my most recent interview was with the Bearfully podcast show with Taven and Bearfully. Once again, I was awake at 2:30 in the morning recording for an American interview, and this was done through Squadcast. Now, I don't know why you're watching this panel. Are you watching it maybe because you're furry, want to know what's going on, or you're interested in podcasting, or just what's going on in the PonyCon world? my advice to you, if you're looking for a podcast form, is to stay clear of Squadcast. I have had so much issues with Squadcast. I usually use Anchor, or I just send voice messages back and forth. Raskel will know I can call Resk at any hour of the morning or any hour of the night just with a voice message. And, it could be about nothing. It could literally be about a fly on the wall. But Squadcast has been the biggest pain in my neck since I started podcasting. It's one of my terms and conditions if you've asked me to be on a show, that I will try in all sorts to avoid Squadcast, because it just does not work in Ireland. It just refuses point blank. But I find Anchor is pretty good. I use Anchor. I've used Anchor since the start of the show. Not sponsored by Anchor, by the way. It's just my own opinion and stuff. But it does have its
not spawn.
hashtag not spawn, hashtag should be spawn, hashtag Anchor. Come on, I've been using the platform like for a year, and I've been, putting a good word in with everyone for over a year now. Please sponsor. Thanks.
I noticed you said you hadn't updated your wiki for in a year. Mine was put up in 2014, so
oh,
yes, I felt that. It links to my Google Plus still.
Oh, Google Plus. Do you remember that was a thing?
Yeah.
What's older, Google Plus or actual in-person conventions?
Oh, don't at me. Anyway, I'm derailing you, but I was
No, you're okay.
I enjoyed using Anchor as well. I'd never really recorded a podcast before I did a podcast with you, and I found Anchor really like user-friendly and accessible to somebody who's a complete technophobe. So
despite you running the social media handles for literally everything ever. Yes.
I'm very good at my job by being very bad at my job. So yeah, if people are looking for something that's like really easy and accessible, I mean, I've recorded Anchor on both my phone and a PC as well, which is handy. So yeah, I would second you.
Anchor is really good because you have you can record yourself as well. Like if we just have a chat, it sounds what you can talk with yourself. That sounds weird, but like what I mean is you can record yourself and it's fine. And you can also like record other people, which is grand because you can see how their time slot is and everything is at the same time. But I do find from an editing stance, it can be a bit of a pain because sometimes it doesn't come in the same time and there's a bit of a delay on like either side. So that from that point of view, it is kind of annoying, but like overall, it it does its job. It's fine. But I will say Anchor did do this thing where they had like Anchor like member stuff, and they sent out shipments to most people in the States who were like using Anchor. And there was one person who's like, oh my God, I'm using Anchor for the last 6 weeks and I love it. I'm just like, at that point, I've been using Anchor for a year and I'm just like, well then. But yeah, that's a different story for a different day. My ring light has decided to break on me. So my apologies, just bear with me. I'm going to be back to my hopefully lighting. I have no bulb in this light up here. That's why my lighting's so off, by the way. My lighting is just, usually things kind of only half work, but today they're only a quarter working. So my apologies on that. But back to what I was saying about the podcast and stuff. Oh my God, this meme. I'm once again asking you to vote for Furry Trash. In March, and here's February, in March, Furry Trash got nominated for its very first award. I can't talk about it too much because the voting hasn't actually finished yet. The judge panel stuff is still going on. But all I can say is for the time that it was on, I did this thing on Furries in the Media for every time between the 1st of March until the 20th of April. Every Furries in the Media I did involved a past guest, such as I did the Furries Behind the Mask with Raskel, not with Raskel, I reacted to the documentary. But I'd say Resk, if I invited you on, you'd say yes with a heart and a half. Because we don't talk at all. We talk for 5 seconds, and that's all it is, And I did one about Tag Attack, which was the BBC documentary Meet the Furries, which due to the the VPN lock of the BBC, thank you BBC, I wasn't able to watch the full thing, but I did manage to totally legally, wink wink, find a way to watch the Lisa Ling documentary about furries, which is featuring Lelia Spaniel, who may or may not be an upcoming guest in a couple of weeks, and Captain Boone's Leon. Yeah, Risk knows what's going on behind the scenes here. I also watched a documentary about Lemon Brat. Lemon Brat is a fursuit maker in the States who, once again, I'm not saying they're coming on the show, but I'm just saying there's a lot of correlation between that, and that's what I do on YouTube. I make a lot of videos about, you know, furries in the media. I recorded a St. Patrick's Day special where I spoke only in Irish, which, even though I would never admit it, that video took me the longest. It's the second shortest video on my channel that's like an actual video, and it took me like 6.5 hours to record because, you know, it took me so long to get Irish like down to a T because it's very particular. And I would just say things over and over and over and over and over again. At times I was like, am I a parrot? Am I a parrot? Saying things over and over again. But yes,
just imagining everyone who's on Ponytown watching this stream right now, just running over to the big Irish flag that's on there.
I did that earlier on. I was playing around there. Oh my God, I can't remember who was there with me, but I was like, oh my God, Irish flag, and I ran over. I got wings specifically to like fly over there, and I was like, going over to my people, and I just like lay there. I was like, yeah, I'm done now. That's me done. I've had enough. Then I left because I did practice under this. But yeah, Ponytown is very fun, by the way. I very much enjoyed it. To the people who made that, you know, I would say
there's screenshots of people watching this panel actually in Ponytown in the Discords. That's why.
Oh my God, that is scary. But yeah, that's what I do. That's me. I think I have a couple more slides to go. I think I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I did a practice on this earlier on with a couple of friends of mine, and something happened. So, you know, fingers crossed everything is still here, but I don't know. If today is telling you anything, that is that I don't have a clue about what I'm doing. Oh yes, so it is question time, my favorite time of the panel. It offers people to ask questions. So I wanted to talk about these images for a second. If you want to throw images, I don't know, rest if you can see the chat or not. Just I could just imagine just silence. I'm just like, well. So the photograph here is a picture of Kyra working from like the pink suit over. So you've Kyra, then there's Stork Creations, Kyra's maker, and then Stork Creations' his brother. And it is my hands down favorite photograph of a convention ever, because this is the only time that I have dabbed on camera, and I will never do it again. And besides, then there is a lovely fan art by a wonderful friend of mine called Caitlin Cos. I can't remember her full Instagram name, but she does cosplay. She's an Irish cosplayer, and I love it. I love to see Ink being edgy and like Ink supporting Kyra, because it's like Kyra's design with the Ink t-shirt and they're holding a Furry Trash thing. It's adorable. I also forgot to mention too that photo credit was from Blurry Baby 33 on Instagram. Blurry Baby is another Irish cosplayer, and we've been friends for like, God, what year were you now? So a long time. But yeah, Resk, if there's any questions in there, you can throw them over to me if you want me to answer them.
Yes, we have been having a very long discussion about the importance of wearing pants.
Yes, pants is very important. Yes, pants is number one.
Yep,
it's a priority.
We've been talking about fursuits and like tails and fursuit parts, which is really exciting. Amalo has posted up and she has like a calico cat persona.
That is adorable. That is so sweet. I wish I was that creative. I'm not that creative to have calico cat personas. I just have purple and blue, and that's kind of it. It's kind of it, to be honest.
It's beautiful. Amalo is also very happy that you're happy with the Irish flag on that. So.
Yes, it's my second favorite part. My favorite part was the maze. I figured out how to. I know you did. My favorite part is that it's interactive, that you can like go over to the thing and like put something in your mouth or put something on your head. That was so funny, by the way, because one of the lads I was hanging out earlier on, they gave me a cookie or a muff or something, and I was like, where did it go? I couldn't figure out where it was gone, and they were like, it's in your mouth. I was like, oh my gosh, oh
no. Yeah, I did the same thing. Sparkler has asked, like, what was the reason you started podcasting? Sparkler is one of our staff. Hello.
So first of all, the reason I started podcasting was, I don't know, to be honest. I loved media since I was younger, and I used to listen to podcasts and radio shows for a long time. In particular, the Storytime by Clazaire, the Showmance from Kevin McHale and Jenna Oskowicz, which is about Glee, because I love Glee. It is, I don't believe in guilty passions, but like if I had a guilty passion, that would be my guilty passion. Yep. The Tripod from the Try Guys, and just kind of like, you know, all that fun stuff. And, you know, I kind of grew up on radio. Like I said, I'm Irish, you know it's a bad day when the radio isn't on in the house. Like, I kind of expressed to you how upset my mum was when I told her the radio couldn't be on when I'm recording. It was a very sad day for Ireland that day. But yeah, putting it into short versions, just kind of grew up with radio all my life. And I was like, yeah, heck it, I can do that. I like furries. I like talking. Boom. Furry Trash podcast. That's kind of it, to be honest.
That's cool though. And Amalur has sorry, I'm probably butchering your name. I'm so sorry. You may have answered this earlier, but how long have you been like podcasting for? Or like how long have you been in the fandom for?
Okay,
How long
so
have you been doing all this?
well, okay, so I've started the show officially in January 2020, but that being said, I actually had a little bit of background in radio, not podcasting, but radio. My mom used to work in a radio station, and I used to sit in the desk with her and like press a button, even though I technically shouldn't have been allowed to press the buttons, but like it's done now, so I will. But I loved pressing the mic on and mic off buttons. So if that counts, a long time, but officially doing Furry Trash like a year and what we now May, a year and a bit. So independently a year and a bit, I've been in the furry fandom. You know, like I said, there's no official term for like joining the fandom, but like, you know, if we were to put in when I was most active, 2018. So what's that now? 4 years? 5 years?
Apparently it is Amlaw. I'm so
Ah,
sorry. My shame. At least I got it right this time. We fixed it.
we fixed it. We got there. We got there eventually, yeah.
It's just like pronunciations are not my strong suit. Which I was in the TikTok panel before this, which was amazing. But we were talking about TikTok and talking about live. And one of the things I didn't mention is like live streaming on TikTok and trying to pronounce people's usernames is like it's one thing to read it, it's another thing to say it.
Yeah. It's like Irish. I love people talking in Irish. The connection doesn't work somewhere. It gets somewhere lost between here and here. I actually have to do the head, shoulders, knees, and toes every time I'm talking about some part of my body. I'll forget about. I'm like, no, what's this called? I was doing a recording last night with an Irish podcast, and I was trying to describe first few parts, and I was like, pause. The pause, and they're like, no, what? I was like, the jazz hands, the pause. I was like, paws and arms and like heads and tails. That was what I thought was tail, because that's like the back.
Yeah,
flowing down.
Just turn into an interpretive dance.
Yes.
Sparkler has also asked how many pairs of ears you own.
Oh, as in like headband ears or just like ears? This is the only pair of ears that I own, but I am in the market for a couple more because I've kind of become obsessed with them. So as of right now, I only have one, but
I have 5.
Okay.
But I never wear them. I actually have a set of pony ears as well, if you can believe it.
Yeah, I know. I know the ones because I use them in the thumbnail of the show. The episode we did. Yeah.
The problem is they're all very tall, and they can get rather heavy after a while.
These are incredibly heavy because they've got like charm on top of them. There's a charm up there in the corner. Which angle did I move? It's so annoying. Yeah. But these are made by a creator on Etsy. Whose name I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm seeing if I can find. Oh yeah, there is the pony ears. Shame to my music taste, by the way. But are they the ears you're talking about in the corner?
Yes. So that photo was taken at the last PonyCon that we did in person. That photo of me is also on a Tom Scar video, which is like, my claim to fame. 5 seconds in a Tom Scar video. There we go.
I think same as being part of Furry Trash, no?
That is true. That is true.
It'll be written on your grave. This is the first time to return for a guest twice in a show.
Yeah. Amlaw said that the headbands can start to pinch after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that as well.
Especially because I wear glasses as well, so like they kind of like layer up, which gets really annoying. And my hair's tied up as well, so this is just pain central up in here. It's great. It's fantastic.
We've got about a minute left.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I'm gonna flash my my favorite meme ever of podcasting. It's very true. Beautiful. It's a reference to when that ship was caught in the islands of like that's
Suez Canal. Yeah,
the Suez Canal. Yeah, that's how to edit podcast 101. Don't. And yeah, my social medias. Furry Trash Pod, Get in the Box, and more art by like Leontic. There is the Instagram, Yokovajig, Scatty Jig, and that's all, folks. That's timed perfectly. Thank you so much. for tuning into the panel. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't combust. I thought I was going to fall apart, but I didn't totally fall apart. So, yay!
Yeah, I'm here again. If any of you guys have just been watching the same panel, the same stream, you would have seen me in the TikTok panel and then just like magically appeared here as well. So
Resk is my emotional support pony. That's how this works. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just showing up everywhere.
You are. This has been so much fun. Thank you again for like letting me know about this stuff and having me involved and making sure I don't completely combust on a panel. So yay, this has been fun. I hope
we all survived and we all made it to the end. And
yay!
It is 6 p.m. on the dot. I think
on the nose
to take us off.
Oh, we're getting kicked off.
When you want to go.
Okay, we're going to wave. Okay. Thank you for watching.